Hey everybody, good morning on a special edition of a little sunrise with Sned, folks. And unfortunately, Todd and Cindy won't be on the line because I know Todd's working. So, welcome. Good morning. This is Wednesday morning and April 14th. And I'm happy to be here with you. And I'm just going to cover some things this morning. Cheers, everybody. Good morning. Having a little drink with my the indoctrination mug. It's a beautiful morning here in Southern California. The sun did just rise. I just watched it in terms of over the mountain that I have to look over to see it rise. It actually rose a little earlier. But let me get to the chat here with you, and and I also apologize for the title that I had down because I had changed that a few days ago, and then you got to change it every day. So I'm not going to have it. Well, I'll figure that all out. But let me get to the chat. We have, folks, we have a very small audience, but we have 20 on Facebook, which is I have to actually make um, public, which I haven't done yet. So it's only going literally to the friends that I have, which is Facebook is now making me do this every time rather than taking my full on, um, uh, across the board setting of public. It makes me every live click public. So that's very frustrating. Nothing I've ever had to do before. Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Cindy. So Kirsten got a dentist appointment last minute, and so she did her show really, really early this morning. Too early for me, and so I decided to come on and do a little something this morning with you, since you were planning on watching me this morning, and so I wanted to come on with you. Welcome, everybody. We are going to cover some major stuff that's happening this morning and that I want to share with you. And I figured I'd get you while I was fresh this morning, and and also make sure that we cover a couple things that are really big that are happening right now. So let me get to it. Let me get to it here with you. Um, let's check our codes. If you're new here, we do a process called checking our code, which is we imagine our preconceived notions, unconscious bias, and and ego wrapped up in this big winter coat. You're coming into a warm theater, and you take off your coat and check it at the coat check, just like you would do at any theater. Grab your claim ticket. Your stuff is safe there, and we are. You can come on in, grab a drink, grab your snack, and favorite person, favorite pet, favorite you, and download some new information. And then your coat is there if you want to grab it on the way out. And yeah, let's see what we got today, folks. So let me get into some major news, which it's been reported that Bernie Madoff has died, and this is something that I'm sure that a lot of people are cheering simply because of who he was and how he had a Ponzi scheme. Dies at 82, and he basically took 65 billion from investors, and he was arrested in 2008. Basically, every new investment he got, he paid off a small percentage of that to his investors that were already involved, and so every new investment he paid the old investors, and so let me get rid of this stuff here. And so that was that's Bernie. And let me get this up. So a lot of people, I'm sure, are happy about that from a standpoint of he represented everything that was wrong with Wall Street. Um, and he was serving a 150-year prison sentence, and his death came 12 years into that. Um, and and so everyone wanted to keep investing with him because they were making money back because he was paying them with the money he was getting in, but still being able to pocket quite a bit of that money. So yeah, that's people on pensions, Social Security. He bilked a lot of people out of billions, and so yeah, and so that's the case now. 82, he's in prison. I could see this being a natural death, certainly, but he's also somebody that was very influential and very high up. And so, this is the type of thing that we're seeing happening with people in the news, pretty high ups in the news. And we're going to see much more of it as things unfold. The other thing I wanted to get into is that Praying Medic posted a couple interesting things. First off, Praying Medic posted that Robert David Steele had been assassinated by the White Hats. Meanwhile, I don't know when that happened, but Steele was just on with Michael Jaco just a day and a half ago, I think. So I'm waiting to see any confirmation of that. But just kind of an odd thing to be reporting. And I've heard some good and bad of Praying Medic. I've certainly gotten a lot of benefit off Praying Medic over the years. But we don't know. The jury is still out on Praying Medic in terms of where he stands really in the whole scheme of things. But at any rate, he also reported that the photo of Ashley Babbitt's killer has surfaced, and his name is still being withheld. And he turns out to be a black man. Okay. And so now here's what's interesting about this. Now, I look at this, and all I see is that one human being shot another human being, one human being being armed, the other human being being unarmed. Okay. And so, this is, he was not in danger of anything, and there certainly could have been, quite a bit of force used that wasn't lethal, like tear gas, like flash grenades, like I saw the Capitol Hill police use on citizens that were trying to break in at 6 p.m. on that day that I got on video. And that repelled everybody very quickly. And so this use of lethal force, and there's a reason why they're keeping his name quiet. There's a reason why they're keeping him quiet. But the reason that they keep something like this quiet is because they're not using race to their advantage. When I say they, obviously the mainstream media, they're not using race to their advantage in this particular situation because it doesn't work in their advantage when a black man shoots a white woman unarmed, like they use, that BLM and Antifa use a white police officer killing a black unarmed man, that are causing vigils around the country. They won't even let white people, know that this is a black man, if it indeed is. Um, I don't know if this is the same man. It doesn't look like it to me, honestly. This is just another man in the Capitol Rotunda who had a gun, but another security guard. But the fact is these are humans killing humans. But the mainstream media, the owned by the cabal, are going to use race to their advantage at any point they can, and yet they keep it out of the news if it doesn't benefit them, or they bury the news if it doesn't benefit them. So that's very telling. When in actuality, we shouldn't be looking at skin color at all when it comes to this. Okay, we have about looks like. Let me get the update here. Good to see you all. We've got about 300, 400 people. I'm just doing a short broadcast because I wasn't on Kirsten because she started early this morning due to a dentist appointment, and too early for me. And so I'm just coming on here with a few tidbits of information. And also, I want to bring you to what's happening in, let me see, the Biden story. Christy, did you drop that for me? The Biden story on, let me see if I can find that, on Afghanistan. Okay. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, speaking of that insurrection on that day, I wanted to show you this. Okay. This is something that I've been talking about ever since that day. New York Times confirms that stand down order was given to the Capitol Police during the January 6th riot. Okay? So it's not okay that David Snedeker has been confirming that in terms of, ever since the day when we saw video and I heard people talking about how they allowed them in to the Capitol building. We saw them release the gates. We saw them open the doors. We saw them walk in with them. Now, the New York Times has finally confirmed what many political observers had been saying all along about the Capitol riots. It was pre-planned. The Capitol Police knew it was coming, and authorities effectively gave a stand-down order. A new 104-page report dropped by an internal investigator shreds authorities for intentionally hampering the police response on what has subsequently been claimed as a coup, an insurrection, and an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The Inspector General of the Capitol Police laid bare all of the disturbing issues involved with the way the January 6th Electoral College security was mishandled. A new report by the Capitol Police's internal watchdog found that department leaders overlooked key intelligence in the run-up to the riot on January 6th, including a warning that Congress itself is the target. And barred the force's riot response unit from using its most powerful crowd control measures, the New York Times reported. The document entitled Review of the Events Surrounding the January 6, 2021 Takeover of the U.S. Capitol is the most searing portrait yet of the lapses and miscalculations around the most violent attack on the Capitol in 2 centuries. Actually, there was a bombing of who's the woman that is now the head of one of the heads of BLM, or is it Antifa, that actually was involved in the bombing a couple of decades ago of the Capitol, and she's now out of prison. She's a professor. She's accepted. She's accepted. If you guys drop the name of her, I appreciate that. We covered that. We covered that a while ago. And so the report was it adds significant new detail not unearthed in congressional hearings and is likely to inform a coming overhaul of the agency promised by lawmakers. The Inspector General, Michael Bolton, criticized the way the Capitol Police prepared for and responded to the mob violence on January 6th. The Times said about the unpublished report. The report was reviewed by the New York Times and will be the subject of the Capitol Hill hearing on Thursday. At the Trump impeachment trial, it was revealed that Congress had been warned by the now resigned Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sunn on an attack from extremists was coming days before the uprising. House Impeachment Manager Representative Stacey Plaskett revealed the explosive information on the second day of the Senate trial. The day before the rioters stormed the Congress, an FBI office in Virginia also issued an explicit warning that extremists were preparing to travel to Washington to commit violence in, quote, war, according to internal reports. Leading up to the event, there were hundreds of posts online showing that his supporters took this as a call to arms to attack the Capitol, she continued. There were detailed posts of plans to attack online. Law enforcement warned that these posts were real threats and even made arrest days leading up to the attack. Maxine Waters also revealed in an exclusive interview just days after the Capitol building uprising, she warned the Capitol Police Chief days prior to the attack. She said that Sunn ignored warnings that an attack by domestic terrorists was imminent days before the insurrectionists imposed their will and overtook the hallowed government building on January 6th. So she, they had asked for increased security and they were denied by Pelosi. Just remember that, right? The former Capitol Police Chief, Sunn, forced to resign under heavy pressure from Democrats, fired back a response to Pelosi. It undercuts the Democrats' narrative that there were no requests made for heavier security. In fact, the Congress was warned 6 times before the Capitol riots, and yet the House and Senate Sergeant-at-Arms, also both resigned, failed to act upon those requests. But a secret history of the 2020 campaign reveals that radical organizations, major corporations, and party operatives assessed that there would likely be a riot if Trump lost, and they could blame the president for inciting it. The Time article lays out. So this is something that I want to kind of get to here. Pelosi's role in calling the shots in congressional security was confirmed by the now resigned House Sergeant-at-Arms. It is clear that Democrats knew that there would be an explosive situation outside the Electoral College. As early as March of 2020, it is now indisputable that the Capitol Police and National Guard were told not to do their jobs effectively, being issued stand-down orders. Okay, now, a couple things that are really, really vital to take away from this article. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the media. All right, this report, New York Times had to cover. Okay, and also the thing is that New York Times has to just think about this. Remember this with the mainstream media. They have to cover things that they know are going to come out. Otherwise, they're going to discredit themselves even more than they already do. Okay? So the thing that we need to take away from an article like this is basically that the mainstream media is here to brainwash and guide your thought process. And it is meant to guide your thought process away from the truth. Okay? But when they know the truth is going to be revealed, then they have to come out with this. Now, I have been saying this since January 6th, February 6th, March 6th, April 6th, now April 14th. So I've been saying this for over 3 months, and many in the truth community obviously have been as well. I'm not alone. I was there. I think I was one of the few that was actually there when when they were trying to break in at 6 p.m. and I got on video that they were easily sent away through flashbang grenades and tear gas. Um, and so what I witnessed there was when they wanted to stop people from coming in, they easily did so. So why wouldn't they have done it earlier? And I'll give you an example. It really only takes one or two officers to fire flashbang grenades and tear gas, and that will disperse hundreds. And that's exactly what they did at 6 p.m. So why didn't they launch a tear gas into the corridor where Ashley Babbitt was? Why didn't they throw a flashbang grenade through the window and into the corridor where Ashley Babbitt was? Because that would have dispersed them. They didn't want to disperse them. They wanted an incident. And they needed a sacrifice. Remember, sacrifice. The Capitol building is in the heart of the owl diagram of the grounds of the Capitol. So Ashley Babbitt, if she died, was literally in the heart of Moloch, which is where they sacrifice children to over and over again. Okay? And all the decisions from Congress that also is responsible for sacrifice, like decisions of war and so forth, which you've heard me talk about many times before. So the this is so that's the one thing to take away from this, is that we cannot trust the mainstream media because the narrative they're trying to paint is obvious, and their use of race in other situations, but not the truth in this situation, is the thing that exposes them even more. And we used to have a saying, and but when you get caught doing something that you shouldn't be doing, okay, and you have to back up and you have to apologize for that, there's a saying of you got to say that. We used to say, we kind of joke around, you got to say that, right? What else are you going to say? You're busted, right? Don't tell us how magnanimous you are now when you were busted doing something. And so this is basically the New York Times, who has been reporting over and over and over again about this Trump insurrection and so forth, and stoking this anti-Trump rhetoric. Now they're coming out, 3 months later. Kyle Becker, really? Like, so let me guess, Kyle Becker, you've had your head up your ass for 3 months and now you're taking it out. And now we're supposed to say, oh, nice reporting, Kyle. How about David Snedeker reporting this 3 months ago? And many, many other patriots. Okay. So that's the one thing to take away from this is the mainstream media, cannot be trusted. And especially in the stoking of race relations. Okay. The other part of the subcategory of not trusting this is that you're going to get some of the truth, but they're also going to increase the foundation of the narrative that the Trumpers were planning this insurrection. Okay, that they were planning on breaking in, they were planning on doing this. And I'm here to tell you that that was the most peaceful crowd I've ever been around, with the exception of a lot of people that were either dressed in all black, dressed like Capitol Police, or dressed, which I have a picture of Capitol Police right there when they were trying to break down the door later, with the helmet with the black back, which says police. and uh, and so uh, and then so they're still stoking this fire that it was the Trumpers that were trying to break in. Trust me, there were a million Trumpers there, and we're not trying to get in. We were like hanging out on the Capitol and waving flags and singing and chanting, and it was a demonstration. Okay, and also look at how the people of the Capitol Hill. I just covered this the other night. How they've been beaten in jail. They haven't even been sentenced. They haven't even been tried, and they're being beaten by these police officers in racially motivated, potentially, certainly politically motivated attacks against these people. And so that's something that we need to make sure that we're keeping an eye out too, because although they'll say, okay, this was wrong, the Capitol Hill police was told to stand down, but they're still painting it as if this was a Trump-led insurrection. It was not. It was not. It was a peaceful protest, okay? And look at how they're covering this one event. And look at, by the way, the stand down orders, look who benefited, cui bono. This is a second thing to look at. Pelosi benefited. The Democrats benefited. The deep state benefited. Why? Because within 2 days of this happening, of the stand down order and allowing people in to do what they wanted to do, and shooting an unarmed woman when it was absolutely entirely ridiculous that they did that. That with all this that is going down, the stand down order, look who benefited. They benefited because Donald Trump was wiped off social media. Look at how many I'm talking about across all platforms. Look what happened to people like me that were censored off YouTube and censored off Facebook and censored off Twitch. Why? Because we were talking about this stuff. We were talking about this event. Look at the FBI coming to the houses of people who were there or even talking about it as if they had something to do with it. I had nothing to do with it. I was having really nice conversations with the police officers. I was right there face to face with them. I was talking. They were not. They were not allowed. The only police officer that said anything to me was when they were clearing us out right at the end, right before 6 o'clock. And one of the guys in a different color, he was in a green when everyone else was in black, which told me he was a sergeant or head of the group, said to me, "Hey, I just want to thank you for the words you said today." Because I was talking to a lot of the cops and I was talking to all of them, and I said, "You're welcome. Thanks for your service." And so so what? They're going to come after me for that conversation, for being peaceful, for actually standing on the stairs of the Capitol, our building, and waving a flag and wearing a hat and peacefully protesting. That is exactly what is in the First Amendment, and they're going after people for that. And I'm not talking about the people that went in. I'm talking about the people that were outside that the FBI has been visiting. So this is this narrative. This narrative continues, but what's important to understand is that this is this was a. So the mainstream media, it's important to understand that they cannot be trusted. And the second major thing, and there are many subcategories in that, and then the second major thing to take away from this is that the people that want to do us harm engage in events that allow them to polarize humanity and strengthen their foundation, because they have very little foundation, that they actually care about people. They don't. They don't. And that they are making decisions in the best um, benefit of humanity. They aren't. They aren't. And these events you're seeing multiple times, okay, are called false this. But I can't even say that because why? Because I'll get tagged. Okay. Um, and then let's see, and of course, this goes to the Dante Wright shooting uh, by police officer Kim Potter, and how they're now making this a big thing, and they'll use that. And certainly the Derek Chauvin trial, uh, they're already using it to attack police officers, which they've already done in Minnesota. They'll use it to divide us racially. Okay, just like I mentioned last night, they've used COVID to divide us as humans. Like they got bored with dividing us by race, dividing us by religion, dividing us by political platform, dividing us by ethnicity, dividing us by patriotism. Which country are you? So they got bored with that, and it stopped working. By the way, under Trump, and so they went with divide us by humans. We have humans afraid of interacting with other humans now. And that's a tragic thing for adults, but it's even more tragic for children who are just developing, and they are growing up being afraid of another human being. It's unbelievable. Breaking 911 just in, ice cream brand Ben & Jerry's, always the social justice warriors, calls for abolishing the police. Says the entire system must be dismantled because it intentionally criminalizes black and brown communities. Again, no mention of potential black man shooting a white woman on the 6th. By the way, every other death has been deemed by the coroner of January 6th to be of natural cause. And they were blaming Trump for that, for 5 deaths. Natural causes, 4 people, natural causes, 1, Ashley Babbitt, shot, which was really sketchy, really sketchy. Okay, so this is these are some important things to take away. Okay. Okay. So, and I wanted to show you this too. Let's see. If you haven't heard my story about yesterday, my trip to the doctor, and last night's Truthcast was fantastic. Please check it out. Please check it out. It's really, really good. And let me see. Let me pull this up. How you guys doing this morning? Who's with me? Who's with me here? Sound off. Where are we in from? Let's see. Susan, it says this Tuesday, SOS, SOS. The date is wrong. It still says that? Wait a minute. It still says that? I thought I changed that. Maybe it didn't allow me to change. It should say live the indoctrination with David Snedeker. Is it not saying that anymore? Yeah, I see it. I see it on Facebook now. That's why we're not getting many, because let's see. Well, there we go. Let me change that real quick. All right. Let's see. So I see it went out, and I couldn't change the title, I guess, in the middle of it. Okay. Um, all right. Let me get back to the chat. Thank you guys for that. Yes. So good morning, Crochet Crazy 8. Good morning from New Mexico. Cool. Yep. Still wrong on the YouTube date. Thank you for that. Let me see if I can make a quick change to that. Let me see. Why is that up there? I don't want that up there. Let me pull this up here. And yeah, I see that. I don't know if it's going to let me change this. I got to go into the studio. Yeah, so once it launches with that title, I guess it keeps that title. And let me see if I can change that. And I've got a couple of things on the deltas I want to show you too real quick this morning. Yeah, it's not letting me change it, I guess. Let me see. There it is. Let me see if I can change it. Edit title. All right. Call it Sunrise with Sned. All right. Let me see. Please let me know if that changes. So it's probably same on Twitch and the others as well, unfortunately. So let me see. I'm not going to change all of them, but and D Live, we got 35 on D Live. Hello D Live. 112 on Twitch, 263 on YouTube, and 48 on Facebook, which has been making mine private, not public, not shared publicly. And even though I do that quite a bit. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to share it again just to make sure that that goes out properly. So so let me get back to something on the Christy, I was looking for the Biden thing on Afghanistan. Kamala Harris, you know, again playing the race card. Why is that still up here? Playing the race card, black women in the U.S. are more likely to die in connection with childbirth because of racism and implicit bias. Wow. Wow. Again, how can we divide? How can we divide? How can we stoke fear? How can we stoke anger among the masses? Okay? This, my friends, is not leadership. It's not leadership. Leadership is getting black population out of prison with a prison reform act like Donald Trump did. Okay? That's leadership. Okay? Leadership is going to the VA and making people accountable for how they treat our veterans who are predominantly minority, okay, and so that they get better health treatment and not treated like second-class citizens, which the VA, not all, but many in the VA, were doing because they couldn't be fired. So Donald Trump changed all that, okay? Leadership is increasing the salary and the wages of the military 3 times while in office, which are predominantly minorities. Okay. Leadership is putting $70 billion of investment into the inner cities, affecting minorities a great deal. All right. In the positive. Okay. Leadership. So these are all things of leadership that have to do with minorities. Lack of leadership is sitting down in front of a camera and saying things like this. Okay? This is lack of leadership. This is stoking division. Okay?
This week is Black Maternal Health Week. And make no mistake, Black women in our country are facing a maternal health crisis. Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth than other women. And it is important to note that Native women are 2.3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. We know the primary reasons why: systemic racial inequities and
free health care in the United States, folks, if you want it. Okay? If you want it, you can go and you can get it. Okay? Systemic racism is the buzzword of the past couple years to divide us again. I can't watch her speak. It's just too much. So, yeah, a couple more things here with you. I want to go back to the chat. Debbie Kring, love you in the morning, Dave. Hi from SoCal. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Sharon, Northern Kentucky. You're up early, NCPFL. Thank you. Yes, I am. Yeah, I got up for Kirsten's show, but she got a last-minute dentist appointment, which were not easy to get. So, and so she went on really early this morning. I'm feeling better, Karen. Thank you. Lisa's still wrong on YouTube. Okay. Wait a minute. Well, I think it's changed since then. Okay. Yeah, Pri says, sick and tired of this nonsense race card. Caroline, I wish Dave and Hawk would get together. Hawk Marsden? Yeah, I'll connect with Hawk. Hawk, reach out to me if you would. DaveSned@gmail. It'd be good to connect with you. Please. Yeah, white supremacist doctors. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and she doesn't even take her mask off, which is ridiculous. Come on. It's so fake. It's so fake. And by the way, when she comes to Southern California, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, you know, it's unbelievable. Let's see. Hawk's Mustard Seeds was playing his live video on Facebook and YouTube, and his video got taken down on Facebook, and now he can't post on Facebook. Yeah, I want to help people who are getting censored, so please have him reach out. Date is now correct. Thank you, Sue Morris. Yeah, okay. Good to see y'all. Yeah, I'm just checking in with y'all. Okay. Mary Williamson. Yeah, Dave is on again today. Love your show. Thank you. Dave, will you be at the Burning Mask event in New Mexico next month? Most likely not. Very heavy schedule. And on top of that, I need to rest and relax and get back to health. So... Julie, got my 3 shirts I ordered. Love them. So glad, Julie. Folks, if you want the indoctrination gear, go to theindoctrination.com or go to theindoctrination.shop, and you will find it there. Some great, great gear. So, yes. So, thanks for mentioning that. Northeast Pennsylvania loves you, Dave. Thank you for all you do. Snickers Mom. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. Greetings from Nebraska, Red State Farm Girl. Good to see you. Mary, I'm a new truther here. Tennessee loves Dave. Thank you, guys. This is awesome. Good morning, Sneds. Nice surprise. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. Ordered your gear. Awesome. Good to hear in the morning, Dave. Always ready. Good morning. What a nice surprise. Hi, Julie. Dave, what are your thoughts on Russell J. Gould and the Title IV flag? The Title IV flag doesn't ring a bell, but the flag should not have gold fringe on it. Okay, the gold fringe was added much later, and we are, the indoctrination says established 1871. Okay, obviously I didn't establish the show then, but they established the indoctrination to control humanity because that's when they took control over our republic. And when I say they took control, I'm talking about the crown. The crown lost in the 1776 revolution, but eventually got back control through the courts and through the corporation, the United States of America, and the cabal basically got back control. So, yes, so Russell J. Gold is dialed in with that fact and the fact that we will return to a gold standard. And so, and the gold fringe is also maritime. So the maritime law that we're under, folks, I learned about the maritime law from one of the greats. I often give him a shout out. Um, he was somebody I've listened to. I can't even tell you how many hours I've listened to this man speak. Bill Cooper, who was a patriot, an incredible patriot. He was one of the leaders of the modern revolution, and he and they killed him through a local sheriff, and that indeed is tragic because Bill Cooper was a true warrior, truth teller, patriot, and so basically, I learned a lot about maritime law and about how they control us through the maritime law and the language. I'll do a special show. It'll be kind of a just the whole corporation, the whole thing. We'll have to do that. Yes, Lori, please all hit the like button. That makes a big difference on YouTube. So please connect on the like button. That's a big help to combat the absolute censorship that we're experiencing on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch that we've all experienced here. So, let me make sure YouTube. That 156 likes, one dislike. Always love that. Like, who's that? Who's disliking? A guy gets up in the morning and just starts, talking to you about the news, right? And you're going to dislike it. How absolutely indoctrinated are you to dislike this event? And so please hit the like button. A couple things. Okay. Yes, just having my morning coffee. What a great way to start the day. Love you all. Hi, Light Angel. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, it's healthcare is you got it. You got it. It's you can get taken care of. Okay. So maybe someone with fat fingers. Yeah, exactly. Get out of the bankrupt corporation T-Wall. If you did DNA test, the City of London Corp are giving permission to the CCP to sell it and use your DNA in place of your birth certificate, looping us as chattel slaves again. Yeah, it's just another level of slave ownership. Dave, have you seen Brad Barton? He had a show 2 nights ago with a Turkish media with a lot of info about Gates and all the farmland connect with Evergreen. You know what? I heard about that. Didn't we do something on that Turkish show? And I want to say something. Yeah. I did mention that, Tina. I did mention that. We talked about that because that show talked about how they were bringing chemicals on the Evergreen. Now, folks, you're hearing about a lot of stuff that came off that Ever Given ship, right? And so we don't know for sure, but we're getting as much intel as we can about the people that were on it and so forth. But remember, there's a lot of disinformation out there, so I really look for something that we can prove. I want to see pictures of people coming off. I want to see video. I want to see, before I really know what's going on. But um, yeah, Kim, Melinda Gates, did you dislike this show? That's great. I could see. Now I know who did it. Now I know. Um, and so the story about the Turkish media said that they were bringing over chemicals that were going to interact with the 5G and further control us. And we've talked about this, about the shot actually containing the software that the 5G can communicate with. Okay, that's the thing that we really is really going on there. Okay, let's see. There will be no mask, Beverly. There will be no mask at live stream this weekend. No social distancing. They have sold 4,500 tickets. Bible College in Oklahoma. Mike Lindell, Linwood, General Flynn, Sidney Powell, and others. That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you going, Beverly? Um, let's see. Okay. Julie, I ordered some silver from Jasmine. Awesome, Julie. Folks, the colloidal silver is fantastic. Please, if just look into it, go to theindoctrination.com, mark it, scroll down, look for the Saints Silver, and reach out to Jasmine about it and learn about how this can change your life. Okay. Tina, hi, Dave. Your energy is top notch. You are healing. Thank you, Tina. I do feel that. I do feel that. Thank you. Yeah, they take your DNA when you go to prison, folks. They take your DNA when you're born. You know that, yeah. I've covered this. You know, in the hospital when my daughter was born, I was guarding against. They wanted to give her drops in her eyes, and I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, no, it's vitamin K. And I'm like, you're not putting anything in my child. She's perfectly healthy. Everything is good. Stay away from her. Okay. So I was running guard in the hospital, like keeping her away from everything. But one of the things that I wasn't dialed into that I wish I had, well, I was somewhat, but they said, listen, she can't leave the hospital without a blood test. And that's when I took her in, and they took her little heels and they squeezed her heel and they poked it and drew blood out of her heel. And she cried, she bawled her eyes out because it was painful. Imagine getting poked in your heel. And they took blood because they want to make sure everything is fine. And I wish I had fought harder against that, because they want to poke them, with the shots and everything. No shots, by the way, ever. And so, but that they take the blood, they take their DNA, and now they can match it with the birth certificate, which the birth, by the way, is a maritime terminology. Okay. The birth, a ship in a berth. Okay. The birth certificate, that was Bill Cooper. So they get your DNA at birth. Make no mistake about that. Now, I honestly don't know when they started that. Sneds, if you want to look into that and let me know, email me at davesned@gmail.com if you can find out when they started pricking the heel of children. Okay. So thank you, Christy. Yeah, let's go to J&J. Bold's Dip. Justin Card, The Last Unincorporated Man. Is that a book? Because that sounds like really, really good. Excuse me. By the way, guys, I'm having. Let me show you something real quick. Okay, let me tell you what I'm doing here. Tina mentioned my energy. And this will be the only commercial of the day. Okay, this is by the way, it's even the wrong title on my webpage with Todd Gadaminski, Cindy Johnson, but this is live. You can always go to theindoctrination.com and you will find the live show here. Okay, and there you go. All
Whatever
right.
happened to him?
This was actually last night. I've got to update this. Okay, but I want to take you to the market and I want to show you Purium. Okay, this is what I'm having. I have every morning, and it's like having 10 servings of vegetables and fruits in this shake. It's got all the vitamins you need. It's got everything. It's amazing, and that's what I'm having right now. That gives me an incredible amount of energy, and also a product called amino acids. Okay, which is pure protein in a vitamin. And I take those, I've been taking those 3 times a day. And oh my gosh, the energy from that is fantastic. And it's pure, organic um, amino acids. It's organic amino acids. And let me see if I can show you what that is. Here it is. It's called super aminos. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Super aminos. I take these now, and oh my gosh, my energy, what a difference. What a difference. So please check this out. I mean, it's 100% pure, pre digested vegan protein tablets, can help build lean muscle and burn fat. A core premium Purium product, Super Amino 23, is featured in the physician's desk reference for rapidly absorbing protein into the bloodstream in 23 minutes. Create lean muscle, burn fat, tighten skin, and improve mental acuity. Okay? I was taking this before, but I wasn't taking enough of it. And now I am. Okay? So you can go to theindoctrination.com and you can just click on the Purium link, and that'll take you to the site where you could support the broadcast. This is what I was talking about earlier with Saint Solutions. This is Jasmine and her father Jim, a father-daughter company, dear friends of ours, dear friends of ours. Please reach out to Jasmine at saintssolutions.com. Spell out Saints, SAINTS solutions.com. This is a fantastic product. You need to learn more about this, please, if you don't know about the benefits of pure colloidal silver. And they are cheaper than Whole Foods. And this is structured. It's the rife frequencied. It's incredible silver. So please check that out. Anyway, let me get to the J&J, the jab. Okay, let me get to that real quick. Okay, let me get back to the main here. The J&J. Let me explain what's happening here. Okay, so let me find where am I at here. Where's my? I can't find my my email. Here it is. Okay. So let me see what we got here. Oh, this was who I was talking about earlier. Thank you, Christy. BLM leader bombed U.S. Senate in 1983. Okay. Now they said this was the incursion. All right. This was the mainstream media. Remember the New York Times article. Okay. Said I'll find you the spot. Let's see. The worst attack on the Capitol, okay, in 2 centuries was the comment. Okay, 2 centuries. Okay, I'm not finding it right now, but it's right in this New York Times article. Okay, now, so you think this is New York Times, so they're going to be accurate, right? No. I'm sorry, not even close. So here it is. Okay. The most searing portrait yet of the lapses and miscalculations around the most violent attack on the Capitol in 2 centuries. Really, they let them in. Here it is. They let them in. It's right here. Okay. The most violent attack on the Capitol in 2 centuries, right there. Okay. All right. Let me ask you something, folks. Is that more violent than actually bombing? Where the heck did that go? Here it is. Bombing the Capitol? Um, this was, they bombed the Capitol in 1983. Look at this. They bombed it. They set off a bomb in our nation's capital. Who did it? Okay, well, one of the people was involved, okay, is Susan Rosenberg. Okay. Susan Rosenberg, okay, um, and did it with Bill Ayers too, by the way, who wrote "Dreams from My Father" for Obama. Okay, and Susan Rosenberg. Let me show you her here. Okay, and we've covered this before. This is kind of a rehash, but she is American activist, writer, advocate for social justice. Well, these are just the images. Okay. And prisoners' rights. Why? Because she was a prisoner. She was pardoned by Bill Clinton. Okay. She was active in a far left revolutionary terrorist May 19th communist organization, M19CO, which, according to contemporaneous FBI report, openly advocated the overthrow of the U.S. government through armed struggle and the use of violence. Okay? We don't do that. 17 researchers don't do that. Trump supporters don't do that. Okay? And this organization was an offshoot of the Black Liberation Army. Okay? And they did the Brinks robbery. They did all kinds of robberies. Okay? She was sentenced to 58 years in prison. All right. And she spent 16 years in prison, which she became a poet, author, and AIDS activist. Her sentence was commuted to time served by President Bill Clinton, okay, on his final day in office. Now, let's see her connection now, which is conveniently left out of this Wikipedia article, which is no surprise. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. Thousand Currents, the California-based charity that manages fundraising operations for the national arm of Black Lives Matter, includes in its board a convicted terrorist who was pardoned and released from prison by former President Bill Clinton in his last day in office. Susan Rosenberg was identified as the vice chair of Thousand Currents board of directors on the charity's website until earlier this month. This was August 2020, when the page was taken down after the conservative think tank Capital Research Center detailed her involvement with a communist terrorist group that had carried out bombings in New York and Washington, D.C. in the early 80s. So this was a direct that manages the fundraising operations for the national arm of Black Lives Matter. And the head of Black Lives Matter, the founder of Black Lives Matter, just bought a $1.4 million home 10 minutes from me. And this is, I think, her fourth or fifth home that she's purchased with this money raised by Rosenberg. Okay, so this is what's going on here. So do you see what I mentioned about the narrative that the New York Times is painting? Doesn't paint the whole picture, because they say things like this was the worst, attack on the Capitol in 2 centuries. No, 1983. But if they mention the 1983 one, they're going to have to tell you who was involved. And if they tell you who was involved, that's going to lead to the exact organization that has caused the most destruction of U.S. Property probably since the Civil War. Think about that. And probably, maybe even more, because they didn't have bombs back then. They didn't have, they weren't, setting off things like that back in the Civil War. I mean, but they were certainly not the bombs that we have today. But so that would mean that they'd have to bring that up. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They can't do that. They can't do that, right? So, okay. So, yeah, and by the way, more and more, you'll see more and more of the events that are created to sway opinion, which are FFs. Okay, you got to know that that's happening in order to kind of really get a handle on all this that's going on. Okay, so thank you for dropping that, Christy. That's awesome. And Christy, I was also looking for the Obama thing. Let me see if I can find that to see if you dropped that for me. Not the Obama. I'm sorry, the Biden story. Here it is. Thank you. You did it. You nailed it. Christy, Nance Taylor, folks, has really stepped into the producer role of this Truthcast in a huge way, and it's just such a great support for me and for Todd and Cindy to get this Truthcast off the ground. So this is going to be really, really interesting here to share with you folks. Biden to withdraw all troops from Afghanistan by September 11th. A symbolic deadline marking the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks, senior administration officials said Tuesday. I'm going to get to why this is so absolutely important in a moment. Okay. The troop drawdown will begin before May 1st. The deadline for complete withdrawal is outlined in a deal the Trump administration reached with the Taliban. A senior administration official said the U.S. says there are roughly 2,500 troops serving in Afghanistan. In his afternoon remarks, Biden will make the case that there is no military solution to the problems plaguing the country, where the threats have changed and Al-Qaeda is not what it once was, a White House official told NBC News, with no credit to Trump for taking out Al-Qaeda, taking out ISIS. The president will also say he's committed to withdrawing U.S. troops in coordination with allies and partners and is committed to diplomacy in the region. Biden's decision comes after a 3-month Afghanistan policy review. The senior administration official said the review determined that any national security threat from Afghanistan is at a level that we can address it without a persistent military footprint in the country and without being at war with the Taliban. That withdrawal may be completed well in advance of September 11th. Okay, now, the officials said they shared the president's decision with NATO allies this week. Okay, now, this decision was first reported by the Washington Post. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham calls the strategy a disaster in the making. A full withdrawal from Afghanistan is dumber than dirt and devilishly dangerous, Graham said in a statement. President Biden will have, in essence, canceled an insurance policy against another 9/11. Okay. Couple things to understand here. 9/11 was not committed by the Taliban. It was not committed by 17 Muslims with box cutters. It was committed by the deep state, by the cabal. But here's the important thing to understand, that most people who are not awake to that reality, that's a reality, by the way, may possibly, my friend Logan has always said that the biggest red pill, and probably the most accurate and the most successful red pill to give somebody would be 9/11, simply because all of the evidence that shows that this was absolutely absolutely a false flag. Okay, and so um, this is so. But here's the thing: for those who still believe, first of all, basically, Biden is taking what Trump did to an extreme level, okay, by getting them all out, whereas Trump was drawn back. But here's what's important to understand. The people that aren't awake to what really happened on the morning of 9/11 still think that it was Muslims that did that, okay? Um, they're going to see those people are still indoctrinated and they're not fully awake. God bless them. They will awaken, hopefully sooner than later, but you need to wake up to that fact. But for those who are still asleep and still, watching mainstream media and trusting mainstream media and the official narrative of 9/11, they are going to take this, they're going to see this action by Biden as a possible slap in the face and as a weak move. And this counter by Graham, okay, because Graham is off the charts because canceled an insurance policy against another 9/11. You know what an insurance policy against another 9/11 would be? Is getting rid of the New World Order, getting rid of the cabal, getting rid of the deep state, which includes Lindsey Graham, by the way, and Biden, okay, and so many more, okay. So, and what we were doing over there was basically protecting the opium trade, which we know that the Crown is involved in, and Prince Philip, who just died, was involved in, and we know all this is taking place, and so to withdraw the troops on September 11th and using that date is going to awaken people to be like, what's up with Biden doing that? Okay, so I honestly believe that this script that I just read, that Yahoo News is parroting from the Washington Post, was written by the White Hats. Because this decision alone, you've got to ask yourself, how many people is this going to wake up? Or at least how many Biden supporters are going to say, what the hell is he doing? Why is he doing this? Okay. And using the September 11th date, which is a huge slap in the face to those who died on the morning of September 11th, if you believe that the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and the Muslims did this. They did not. They were used as pawns in this game. Okay. So this is probably the most important story I've covered today because of that fact. Okay. So, all right. Putin had a presser and said on their national mainstream media that the New World Order is done. They have been broken up. Translation is funny. GS Midnight Rider. I'm sorry, Q's Midnight Rider. Awesome. I love that. Would you drop the link for that? Is that the speech that I told you last night that Putin was going to make that was going to change the world? Let's see. Oh, so I want to talk to you about the J&J. Somebody said, Karen, you said that I just hope the White Hats have taken over the jab somehow. Okay. So let me, Christy, did you drop the Trump J&J? Was that earlier? Let me see. Yep, I got it. Thank you. So, all right. So I want to show you guys this, and it's going to piss you off at first, but let me explain. Trump, federal pause in Johnson & Johnson vaccines done for politics or FDA's love for Pfizer. Okay, now, remember, everyone's using this public relations word. Hold on a sec. Little oxygen, and I need to breathe. And I'm going to wrap up here shortly with a few deltas. Trump, federal pause in Johnson & Johnson vaccines. Okay, so everyone's using the the public relations word created pause because it's so gentle, right? Trump is criticizing that they're doing a disservice to Americans by halting usage of the J&J vaccine, okay? And may have been halted due to possible political reasons. It came after U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the CDC recommended a pause. The results have been extraordinary, but now its reputation will be permanently challenged. The people who have already taken the shot will be up in arms, and perhaps all this was done for politics, or perhaps it's the FDA's love for Pfizer, Trump said in the statement. So, okay. Remember, it was the FDA. Trump added, remember, it was the FDA working with Pfizer who announced the approval 2 days after the 2020 presidential election. Okay. They didn't like me very much because I pushed them extremely hard. So they didn't do it. They didn't approve it until Biden was supposedly the president. The FDA, especially with longtime bureaucrats within, has to be controlled. They should not be able to do such damage for possibly political reasons. Okay. They also said rare type of blood clot were reported in 6 women among nearly 7 million shots against the virus. Okay. So let's talk about this. Why would they stop the J&J and not the others? Because the others are having problems too, by the way. Okay. The reason is because the J&J jab doesn't contain mRNA. It doesn't contain the software that is programmable by the 5G and does not contain the DNA altering mRNA. That's the one they want because they want to change our DNA and they want to turn us into AI. They want to separate us from our creator. This is very, very real. And as Christie said, do the math. 6 women in 7 million, okay? Which means it's 1 in 1.166666.67. So it's 1 in 1.1 million and then 666,666. So not only is the jab contain the mark of the beast, which is 666, not only is Gates patent 060606 for the hydrogel, but when they come out with the numbers, it's the mark of the beast. Okay, so that's very key. Okay, that's very, very key. All right. And then you've got Denmark. Okay, totally bans CV-19, okay, shot amid reports of blood clots, okay. Oh, by the way, the AstraZeneca, that's the other one that has been banned, okay. This is the one they're talking about now. The AstraZeneca also doesn't have the mRNA. How convenient that the two that don't have the mRNA DNA altering technology in it are the ones that are banned, even though there are major reports from of the Pfizer and the Moderna that are not good, of people's side effects to all those. Folks, if they're going to shut down, these jabs for the sake of safety, they need to shut them all down. They can't just shut down two. But how convenient, the only two that they are shutting down, yeah, are the ones that don't have the DNA altering. Okay? Yeah. And as I told you last night, CNN has released, the Project Veritas has released that video exposing CNN. You can watch that on the broadcast last night. And they admitted to getting Trump out, and they admitted to the next thing they're going to focus on is the CV, and which they have been consistently. So let me get to the deltas, and I'm going to get out of here. Start my day. Yeah, I got to get going. I want to see my daughter before she starts school here. Yeah, the deltas. Just check out the. I'm not going to get into all of them, okay? But check out the deltas for. I thought I had already pulled them up, but I'm not seeing them. I know I had already pulled them up. So where the heck are they? They're hiding from me. All right. So if you look up April 14, 20, there was one for 2018. We went over this last night. Trust the plan. April showers. We covered all the water in D.C., the floods in D.C. We've been told that they're flooding the tunnels under D.C. And then there's 10 of 2020, the 1 year delta. Okay. So please check this out. Symbolism, all informed, awake, public holds all the keys. My next piece is called Nothing Can Stop What's Coming. This is a Donald Trump tweet. Who knows what this means, but it sounds good to me. He retweeted a Scavino. You're witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. Do you see what's happening here? Information warfare, panic. Some leaks destroy the MSM narrative. Who benefits the most? Okay. All the story on MSM. Okay. So this is, check this out. This is, story about HCQ. Okay. And what if the cure already exists? What about the billions public, private, government provided to fund cure development? Sheep, these people are sick. And then it covers HCQ. Okay. And the Dem Party and the mainstream media. So please check that out. And if you want to check out tomorrow's, just type into qalerts.app, April 15th, 2020. Okay. We are far beyond the need for proofs. You have more than you know. Durham start, Q up start, 5-5. 5-5, question mark. When will our voice and vote matter again? It does now, Patriot, more than ever. Think 2016, 2020. Think of the world awakening. That's what's happening, folks, is the world is awakening, okay? The armor of God. Do you think it was Paul Ryan's choice to step down? Rising star in the Republican Party, Speaker of the House, age. Do you think it was Senator Flake's choice to step down? No, folks. They have been, forced to step down by the white hats, okay? By the white hats, all right? Be informed, think for yourself, trust yourself. This is the group that supposedly is running this cult, telling you to think for yourself. Yeah? All right. We are under attack, folks. Our beliefs, our families, our species, our genders, both of them. We are under attack. Humanity is under attack, and we must fight back in this war against this tyranny and against this false information that's being put out. Okay, and this is absolutely a spiritual war that we're in. Okay, so I will leave you now, and I wish you all a great Wednesday. And yes, hold the line, Patriots. Hold the line. We are at somewhere in the ballpark of 600 people, I think, here. And so, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Please share this out, folks. This is a brief, action-packed, information-packed truthcast. Please share this out. Take a moment, if you would. Share this with groups on Facebook. Share it with groups on YouTube, with people on YouTube, and Twitch and DLive. I appreciate you all. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together this morning, and bless us all, strengthen us all in this spiritual warfare we are engaged in. Bless all those who are having trouble financially, health-wise, spiritually right now. Please reach out with your loving arms of God and your armor of God. Thy will be done. In your name we pray. Amen. Be well, folks. I love you all. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow night. Please share this out. I love you. Bye-bye.